All right. Hi, DevOpsDays Raleigh. All right. This is Drawing Insights, Software Development Lessons from XKCD, a webcomic of romance, sarcasm, math, and language with a permissive license by me, Dan Cook. Now, show of hands, who knows XKCD? All right, that's what I thought. So, quick anatomy of my slides. We've got a funny comment that'll prompt me for what I'm talking about. The ever-important funny picture. Link to connect to me if you want to, and then the license that lets me do cool things like this. So it includes name of the comic, URL to it, and the important lesson here is we need to pay attention to the fine print, whether it's doing something like this, or our employment contracts, or even our code contracts. As much as we want to play with abstract things, we need to care about the fine print. Also, these comics are highly educational, so sing it with me, y'all. When a grid's misaligned with another behind, that's amore. All right, who here will remember that and didn't expect to sing today? All right. Sadly, learning how to make good code through a comic is not one of the things that you can do. But that's okay for us because we live in a socio-technical domain. And there's a whole bunch of more interesting things on that socio side that we can go and get from these comics. One example is how Randall Munroe went and dealt with his now wife getting cancer very unexpectedly at a young age. Now, we aren't all necessarily dealing with something as tragic and traumatic as that, but sometimes we have that. But we also have these really lonely moments when we're the only person on the internet who seems to be having this problem. And this is just an incredibly frustrating experience to have, whether it's the extreme of someone having cancer or being the only one there. And the best thing we can do is actually just share our experiences. It helps you see, hey, I'm here, I did this, I had this, and it hopefully helps those other people who are feeling like they're the only ones out there having this exact same experience. So the other thing we need to remember is it wasn't that long ago we didn't know this answer either. So we should just go and celebrate when we or anyone else learns something. It's just so much more fun and interesting when you're celebrating that rather than trying to pretend that you know everything. And so between sharing your experiences and celebrating new learnings, I think we can do a lot to get rid of imposter syndrome for ourselves and the other people that we work with. Who here has ever felt that imposter syndrome? Thank you. That's helping me right now. The goal here is not for us to get the most nerd cred. There's always going to be someone who knows another Vim keyboard shortcut that you don't. And it's not really the thing that we're after here. Like Tim was saying before, we don't want to be a cost center. We want to get to be a competitive advantage. And we need to focus on the business problem. These are not the bright, shiny objects. These are the tough, meaty things that, might not seem that important in some cases, but they're why we're getting the great compensation that we do. We need to focus on these things. So remember, don't lose sight of these business problems. They're actually why we're here, and they're how we add value and do some really cool stuff rather than the fun things that are bright and shiny and really interesting all the time. But, focus on the business problems. That's where the value is. We also need to be prepared for things to change. Now, when this comic came out, the concept of your phone being able to identify that you're taking a picture of a bird, crazy. That's not such a hard thing anymore. But, some things change on that technical side. Other things stay the same. The core idea of the Mythical Man Month is still there. You're not going to be able to read that book in half the time by buying 2 copies. So we have, there we go, someone's read the book. All right. So, we're going to have things change. We're going to have some things stay the same. And one of these things that's changed for me over the years is this comic. This is the first XKCD comic that I saw, and I felt so cool because I had just learned about SQL injections. Like, I get the joke. I understand what's going on here. But over the years, this comic's changed for me. There's no devs in this picture. There is a mother torturing some poor school admin with her SQL injection here. And the devs aren't closing that feedback cycle. And that really stinks when you get down to it. And this is so much what we have. So we really need to make sure that we have empathy for our users, our teammates, and ourselves. I know this is sounding like I'm putting a lot of heavy things that we need to go and do, but I'm actually kind of optimistic about it because one of the fun things is we now get to decide what it means to be a software engineer. Once upon a time, software engineers were the people that you kept in the basement, you pushed them aside. And as I look out here at y'all, we have a diverse group of folks here. This isn't what we need to be anymore. We can decide what we want to be. So I want to leave you with this idea from Kent Beck in his book, Extreme Programming Explained, 2nd edition. No matter the circumstances, you can always improve. You can always start improving with yourself, and you can always start improving today. Thank you, and I'll see you all around the rest of the conference.